Hi, if you're looking to make a few extra $100 or maybe even a few $1,000 extra a month, you're watching the right show. This is a Hanson Report. I'm Mark Victor Hanson. You know me best for Chicken Soup for the Soul and the 1 Minute Millionaire. But today I'm interviewing, again, the hottest young millionaire in America, Anthony Morrison. He took a problem and turned it into profits, and now he's got a book that you've seen him again and again on TV because it is the most outstanding bestseller that exists. Anthony, thanks for being on our show.
Thanks for having me back, Mark.
What is the secret that makes this the hottest, rockinest book on the planet right now that everyone's reading?
You know, Mark, it's like I told you last time. I designed this book and this opportunity based on my necessity to make money, right? And so it's not like anything else you've ever seen. It's not about selling on eBay and selling products and customer support and all of those things that people watching don't want to do. This is something that's automated, and it's an amazing opportunity. It works like this. You know, there are these really large companies that have huge advertising budgets.
Monsters.
Like brand name companies. They have advertising budgets. They spend it on print and TV and radio and all that stuff. They also have a huge portion of it allocated to the internet. Well, they need people like me to send them customers. So what they did is they just set up a program where I can send these big companies customers, and they send me a check for doing it, right? So it makes a lot of sense. I don't have to handle customer support. I don't have to do any shipping of products. I don't have to compete with all these big companies. I'm just working with them, sending them customers, and they send me checks, commission checks. And so what I've done in my book, Advertising Profits from Home, which we're going to talk about here for a little while, is I teach people. This is a blueprint of exactly how I've done everything I've done. It's how I went from a 21-year-old kid in college to where I'm at today, where I've made millions of dollars on the internet. I'm going to show everybody on this show exactly how they can do the same thing. But before I do that, I want to run a clip real quick.
Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
Hi, my name is Roger, and I'd like to share my story with you and how Anthony's system literally saved the day for this family. At age 60, I retired and invested my entire savings in the stock market. A year and a half later, I had lost it all. With no job, no income, and a large family to support, I didn't know where to go. At about this time, I was introduced to Anthony's system. With this system, we have been able to secure our home, which was in jeopardy, and put the 3 children through college, and along the way, we were able to purchase several new automobiles. Anthony's system really works.
Tell me about that video clip, Anthony.
Well, you know, Mark, a lot of people watching at home, they may be surprised. No, that was my dad. You know, that's wow. Our life story. That's what happened to my family. You know, like I said, I started my business out of necessity. I was a college kid. I was going to medical school. That's what I wanted to do. I was a biology major. And while I was in college, my dad was in his mid-60s. He was retired. He had made a lot of money in real estate. He was set, but he invested all of his money, or a lot of his money anyway, into WorldCom. And obviously we all know that WorldCom kind of had some problems. And my dad, literally in 24 hours, my dad lost almost his entire life savings. So he was faced with a really bad problem, a problem that a lot of people in this country are facing right now.
Exactly.
I mean, he was in his mid-60s. He had a family of 5 people to support, 3 kids to put through college, and a house payment, car payments, all these things. He had no income. So, of course, the first thing that he started trying to do was get a job. I mean, he had no college degree or anything. You know, he had made all his money in real estate. So he started trying to get a job. My dad went, I'm telling you, like car dealerships, AA baseball fields, trying to get jobs there. Nobody would hire him because of his age. I mean, when you're in your mid-60s, you don't have a college degree, it's kind of hard to get a job. So he was really in a bad situation. He was completely depressed. Nothing was happening. You know, I kept telling my dad, I remember I'd be laying in my bed in my dorm room, and I'd call my dad and I'd say, listen, you know, you've made money in real estate before. You can do this. You can, you know, you can get out of this hole. He never could do it. He was so depressed and taken back by the loss that he had. So it got to the point where my family was about to lose their home. I was about to have to drop out of college. Our whole lives were about to change. And so I just decided, you know, I've got to do something. I mean, if I remain paralyzed, and everybody does, then nothing's going to happen. So I had to take action. I had to do something. So I got online, and I started looking for different ways that I could make money on the internet and still be able to go to school. So I didn't have business experience. Like I said, I was a biology major, so I just used common sense. What I did was I made a list of all the things that I had seen and heard people trying to do, the sell it on eBay, the sell the products through Google, all that stuff. I made a list of all that stuff. And then what I did was I just went around Mississippi and I asked people, hey, have you tried this? Have you tried this program or this program? And I always got the same response. People always said, everybody always said, you know what, Anthony, I did try that. You know, it didn't really work for me, but I'm on to this. And they'd start telling me all about this new program, right? And the more I asked people, the more I heard the same response. They're always on to something else. And for me, I didn't have time to be on to something else. I needed something that would work right now, because otherwise we would have lost our home. I mean, my family would have been devastated. So what I decided to do was do nothing that I had seen before. I just decided to create my own way, create my own program, do my own thing. I got online, I started a business, and the very first month, I was able to make $1,000. Now, I wasn't making millions of dollars, and we're not telling anybody at home that just because you buy a book and you read it, you're going to make millions of dollars and drive a Ferrari. For me, I made $1,000. I was blown away because I did exactly what I was trying to do. I made enough money to pay my parents' house payment to keep them in their home. And then, of course, I was motivated. I was inspired. I'd made some money. And so I kept building on that. And I took this business from $1,000 my first month to almost $200,000 a month in a little less than 3 years. Wow. Now, I did not make millions of dollars overnight. I did not become this internet guru or anything like that. All I was doing was just learning as I went, you know, and I was building my business. And that's what I really want to teach people to do. That's what I've done, and that's what I'm here to show everybody else that they can do as well.
That's an amazing story, and I know it's true. I read your book and I've met your family, but why would you be willing to share it with people rather than just take it all for yourself?
Right. Well, you know, I think that's one of the things that makes this so unique and so different from everything else, and that is that I've created an opportunity that would allow me to teach other people to do what I'm doing. And when they make money, I make money. So it's kind of like I have a vested interest in everyone that picks up the phone, dials a number, and gets this book, because as they are successful, I'm going to be successful. But let me tell you exactly how it works. When I started this, what I did not want to do is what everybody else was doing. I didn't want to have to get on the internet and sell something to somebody. I didn't want to have to post things on eBay. I didn't want to have to compete with millions of people around the country trying to sell little trinkets on the internet. Selling is the hardest thing to do online, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have to deal with customer support and all of the things that go along with it. So what I did was I found a way to make money without having to sell products, without having to do customer support, without having to ship things, without all of the customer service and problems that go along with it. I'm able to promote big brand name companies, you know, and I'm not having to compete with them. See, when you go in business and you want to sell something on the internet, you've got to compete. If you want to sell electronics, you're competing with big electronic stores. My whole theory was, why do that? Why compete with these big brand name companies that certainly have more money than I have? I would rather just work with them, use their brand name, send them customers, send them more business, and just get paid to do it. So I set up a program that would allow me to do that. And then through, you know, as I'm going through this whole process and I'm making more money and I'm learning as I go, I have a lot of people. I live in a small town, so a lot of people realize, hey, look, Anthony's doing well. He's making money. And so they started asking me, hey, will you teach me how to do this? Will you show me how I can do what you're doing? And I thought to myself, yeah, I'd love to show people how to do this, but there's a process. You got to have all the tools. You got to have everything that you need in order to make it work. So what I did was I set one of my good friends down. His name is Justin Califf. He went to school with me. He was working at his dad's suit store. He's making like $8 or $10 an hour. He was struggling through school, as we all were. You know, he and I, we were not like the most gifted people. We weren't just making straight A's. We had to study, you know. So we didn't have time to work a lot. He was struggling. He was getting married. So he said, look, will you teach me how to do what you're doing? So I sat Justin down. Now remember, this is when I first got started. This is when I'm making like $1,000, $2,000 a month. I sat Justin down. I taught Justin what I knew. Today, Justin's in his mid-20s. Justin's made over $1 million. Wow. He's paid cash for his first home. Now think about that. Think about how what that does to me.
I mean, it's good for the economy, too.
I mean, he's paid cash for his home. He's in his mid-20s. He'll never have to worry about what my parents worried about in their 60s because he doesn't have a house payment. He paid cash for it, and he did it through just basically applying the strategies and techniques that I taught him. So what I did was I put all that together, I put it in this book, and I'm telling everybody that's watching this show, you can do exactly what Justin did. You can do what I've done. All you got to do is get the book, read it, and actually apply the techniques and strategies that I teach.